Hey guys, it's Evelyn
and Sarah,
and welcome to this episode of our Rise podcast.
Rise!
So, today's episode, we are going to be delving into the abandonment wound.
Ouch.
Something that we've all experienced, we are aware in some ways that we are experiencing it, or...
Yeah, it's a big one. I think we've all experienced it for sure, but maybe don't know it. I think it's become very normal for people to have an abandonment wound and think that's just life. They think that like this, I mean, we'll go into the signs of what an abandonment wound is, but this idea of chasing love or finding your perfect partner to complete you has been so ingrained in our society.
Right.
Like from movies to seeing people, like you can't even be, I'm a single woman and almost every week I have someone asking me, when are you going to get a boyfriend?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's such a deep issue, but it needs to be healed to find, again, and I think our core value is true freedom.
Right.
And freedom comes from healing.
Yes. It's looking yourself in the mirror and acknowledging the wounds that we have tried to suppress for so long. And like the thing that you start noticing is, if like me, I started noticing the pattern. You know, it's like, why am I always in the same situation all the time?
Yeah. Every new relationship is just a repeat of the last one, too.
Exactly, right? It's just a different face.
Exactly.
You know? And so we're here to talk about that. What are the signs
of an abandonment wound?
Right.
So I think the signs really depend on if you're predominantly in the masculine energy versus a feminine energy, and it could be either, like you could be a woman who holds more masculine energy or a man who holds more feminine.
Right.
And the issues
that come up with
the signs are a little bit different. So,
but the core wound is
the same, right, which is fear of like losing love, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah. So I guess some characteristics or patterns that you notice the abandonment coming out in is, for example, chasing love. Are you constantly feeling that you are not enough on your own and that you need a partner to complete you?
Yeah.
Are you looking for your Prince Charming? You know, like...
Or taking crap from people, from that person, from someone who maybe you know isn't right for you, but you take crap from them because you're afraid of losing love. You're afraid of being alone.
Right. Or even from friendships, family members. I think that's one thing that we need to acknowledge, is that a lot of people live in this idea that, you know, family is thicker, like, blood family is thicker than water, or whatever that saying is, you know. And we have to come to the acceptance that even family members can be toxic, you know. Are you a people pleaser? Are you constantly wanting people to like you, so you hide the person that you really are, your ideas, your way of thinking, because you want to be liked? You know, again, going back to the not wanting to be alone.
Not what I mean. And I think it also, this manifests, like going back to that masculine feminine, this manifests differently. I find the feminine energy is more in that chasing. Right? It's that like, oh, I need to pursue this person. I can't just sit back and receive the love, right? It's like pursuing that love. Whereas the masculine energy, I find, runs a little more, right? So they're cutting off relationships maybe before it starts, numbing their feelings, right? It's just fear of that love, fear of letting it get too close, even though you want it so bad.
Right.
That's more the masculine, whereas the feminine is chasing it, right? It's trying to catch that butterfly that is meant to be free, but we want to catch it and put it in a little cage. Yeah.
Or self-sabotage.
Or self-sabotage,
you know?
So, more signs would be what? Chasing perfection.
Yes.
All the time.
Being codependent on people.
Codependence.
Yeah. That's a big one.
Oh my god, that's so huge. Like, that has to be like a whole other topic here.
About codependency,
Codependence.
Fear of being left. You know?
Fear of being left alone.
Are you the one to cut things off so you don't get left? You know? Are you the one who shuts down and runs when there's conflicts?
Yeah. And also accepting abusive behavior, whether that's mental, physical, spiritual, like emotional, accepting this behavior that makes you sick from the inside out, right? That's the first sign, is like, okay, I'm not enough on my own. I need this other person for finances, for whatever, for
emotional,
like whatever,
anything.
Like, whatever stories you tell yourself to stick around, it's probably an abandonment wound that is the core issue there.
Yeah. And I think that also plays into needing reassurance from those around you, right? Feeling like, like, do you love me? Do you love me? And needing to hear that all the time. Yeah. Or the attracting unavailable people. You know, that's another one.
And I'm guilty of all of these, by the way.
Same. Been there.
And it still comes up here and there, even though we've done our healing a lot. It still comes up, right? Like, it's hard to kick this addiction to love, which is really what it is. It is,
yeah. But, like, I mean, that's one thing to kind of... well, I guess we'll get into that sort of thing as to now that we've kind of talked about how to spot an abandonment wound. Now we can start talking about...
Yeah, like another one is like attracting emotionally unavailable people.
Yes.
Or being emotionally unavailable yourself, which is how the masculine would usually... Right? Which is the numbing. Right? So how do we heal this, Evelyn?
This is the $100,000 question.
Yeah, so first step, I guess seeing those signs.
To any addiction, I guess the first step is acknowledging it. Acknowledging the pattern, acknowledging that, you find yourselves in the same repetitive relationships, again, whether it be a romantic relationship, a friendship, a family relationship, like
the
when
patterns.
Yes, that is like the big one.
It's funny, once you hit like your 30s, or just as you get older, you start to see all these little patterns and you're like, oh my god, my whole life is just a spider web of the same things happening over and over, trying to teach you these lessons.
But we are too stubborn and just like to blame it on other people and thinking other people's faults. But really, it's... look in the mirror, because we are the ones who are allowing this sort of behavior.
Yeah. So that first step is like seeing that, right? So let's say, okay, to give an example here, let's say you're with your partner and if you live with them, maybe they've spent the night out with their friends and they didn't call, or your partner, maybe you don't live with them and they didn't text you back, right? They didn't call you. So if your first reaction there is a fear response, right? So the physiological response to it is fear. So that's like your heart pounding. It's, oh, should I call them? Do they love me anymore? Like when those stories start going through your head, I think that's like a big thing, right? Or I should break up with them. All these stories of like, I'm too good for them. I should leave them. Who are they to not call me? Yeah. Right? Yeah. So stuff like that. Noticing that response and realizing it is an addiction to love.
Right. Yes.
Right. Okay. Step two
is removing the spiritual sludge. So what we mean by that is, what are your beliefs? What are your fears? What stories are you replaying in your head that make you automatically go to this fear response? Your illusions about what love is, or, just all this shit that's happening up here, that you're telling yourself is truth when really it's all an illusion. It's all fear-based, Can
we just point out here too? Only love is real.
Yes.
Like if whatever you're feeling is fear-based, it's not real. It's an illusion up here. Yes. Because only love is real. Like, at the end of the day, you are made of love. They're made of love. Everyone is like a loved little spider web of love. Yes. But like, I believe love heals and love is the truth.
Yeah. What's that saying that says, remove all blocks that lead to love? Like,
you don't chase love. Remove all blocks to love.
Yes.
Right?
So like, that's really what we're kind of getting at here, is what are these stories that you're telling? And remember, like, one thing that we have to acknowledge too is that a lot of these fear-based stories and illusions that we have come to accept as our reality have stemmed from childhood. So that's going into our next step, where we need to acknowledge where in our childhood did we develop these abandonment wounds?
Probably a daddy issue.
Daddy issues, mommy issues. Like, how did they, and this is one thing that we recommend on doing, is like sitting down with yourself and pointing at, it's interesting because for me, I remember specifically those moments where I felt abandoned by my parents, you know, that I didn't get the love, I didn't get the acceptance, and it's revisiting these moments, and this is going to be really hard.
It's so hard. I remember, like, my big scene from when I was a kid was when my dad he had a fight with my mom, and he walked out the door, and I was begging him not to leave. Yeah. And he said, no, it's your mom's fault, I'm leaving, like, forever.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was, like, I remember this. I was maybe, like, 4 years old. Yeah. And that stuck with me, right? And like that was the start of it. Yeah. So it's like for example, so how do we deal with these stories, right? How do we clear this sludge?
Right. So for me, what I did is first like taking myself back to these moments and feeling what I had to feel, feeling the pain, feeling the abandonment, feeling the sadness, the anger, the resentment, feel it all. Because the only way to feel, the release is to feel it. Yeah. And you have to feel it.
Like, sorry guys, you got to feel it. Like, literally what I would do in that situation is I would go back to it in my mind in that situation, and I open my heart, like, just because it's like the heart chakra, like that's the part where like the abandonment wound is. It's like fear of love, right? And like letting that open, and like it's physically painful. Yeah. Like, I remember feeling like my chest was on fire when I was doing this because, like, literally you have muscle memory, and these memories are stored in your body, including on your organs, on your heart, which is, like, where the love comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing, too. Like, again, I feel like everything is just so interconnected, and it's all a web, right?
I know.
So we do hold on to these traumas in our muscles, in our body, in our health. Like, you see all of that come through. So again, like, going back to being a child and acknowledging where this trauma began. Yep. And another thing that I did when it came to inner child work was talking to my inner child and being that person that she needed. You know,
like raising yourself again,
right? It's like inside. Teaching yourself, and also
I think can we just sorry to interrupt you, but I don't think I think a lot of people have many people have not heard of inner child work, right? Yes. So can we just clarify there, like, exactly what the inner child is?
So basically, what inner child work is going back to these moments where we were children, where you 6, 4, 5, whatever age you recall the trauma first appearing, and you picturing yourself as a child and picturing yourself now. What would you as a person now tell that child? What did you need to hear from an adult in those moments?
Yeah, and you can do this in visualization too. Right. So usually, like, you were probably 3 or 4 years old when this core wound happened. Right. So, like, and that child lives in you, like it or not, right? That child is out reacting. That's the thing inside of you that's like, they don't love me, let's call them. Yeah. Or, oh, they love me, that might hurt me, let's push them away. That's the little kid in you. That's not the adult that knows that, like, you're safe now. It's the inner child in you.
Acting in fear. Yeah. Acting in... You know, back then I had to close off because I didn't feel safe. So therefore now I need to close off as an adult because I don't feel safe. For sure. It's triggering certain emotions and certain scenarios that you've experienced in the past. Yeah. And it's keeping you
trapped in the past. Yeah. in your fear. That 3-year-old is in fear living your life, right? Right. So identifying that, and I think also comparing, like, the patterns that are being created in your life because of that inner child, and comparing those patterns in your relationships in your life to your parents and how their relationship was or wasn't. Yes. Right? And looking at those patterns and really recognizing the pattern, right? Taking that witness, like taking a step back and seeing the pattern from an objective view. Right. I think is key in healing.
And I think another thing to accept too as a child, and your first instinct is probably going to be like, well, my parents suck, or they didn't know what they were doing. But I think you have to address the situation from a point of compassion where our parents were doing the best that they could. We also have to understand that maybe the way they were raised, they got that sort of behavior, and so they're mirroring the behavior that they received. And portraying that in what's the word, like mirroring it, not mirroring it, yeah. Projecting it onto us. Projecting it onto us.
All day long.
Yeah. Projecting it onto us.
And our partners.
And remember that they too have inner child trauma that they're, again, playing out with us.
For sure.
You know, as children. And so acknowledging the fact that, you know what, everybody's doing the best that they can. Of course, we would want them to have been better, but
they're doing the best they can.
They're doing the best they can.
Exactly.
And just coming from a place of compassion for our family and those around us, but also being there for our inner child and being the person that we wish we had.
Forgive and re-raise yourself as you would want to be raised, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say is on the other side of healing from this love addiction? Because we've done a lot of the work, a lot of the healing.
Yeah, so I would say pure love for yourself,
love for life,
and love for life. And and like we were mentioning this before we even recorded this, is that, like, do you ever really fully heal? And
no
you don't.
The triggers are still going to come up, I think, but we're able to take a step back and see the trigger, see the physical response to it, and just let it pass, like release it, rather than trying to close up and keep it in.
Like now, I would say that we built our toolbox to say, you know, like now we're more aware of when our triggers come up, that we can acknowledge it and see. Because remember too, every trigger it needs work. What needs acknowledgement, you know? And now that you're fully stacked with your toolbox, now the triggers don't hit you as hard, and they're also easier they're easier to almost dissolve instantly. You know that. You know, after dealing with it so much,
you've cleared so much sludge off yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that once we clear that sludge too, that's when we're able to fill our own cup with love rather than chasing it. Because you realize, like, we have God within us, and we have that, like, which to me, God is pure love. Right? So you are made of pure love, and you have that connection to the divine, and that's where you fill your cup from self, which is divine, right? Like, we are made in God or Goddess's image.
Yeah, we're basically finding the purity within us, you know, when God made us in his image, right?
Yep. And to do that, we need to clear the vessel to let God in. God, Goddess, divine source, whatever you want to call him,
exactly.
her.
It really just comes down, like, removing all these stories and illusions that we've created over time to find true love again, true love within self, to find, you know, true love with creator, whether you see it as the universe, God,